Welcome back, Tarot Maniacs. This is part 4 of our breakdown on the House of York. We're going to be talking about the princesses. I will see you in a minute. Welcome back, Tarot fam. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. And in this series, we are looking at the House of York. We are breaking it down for Andrew, Sarah. We did those in the first video. In the first video, we looked at the overview of the House of York and some astrology. We looked at Andrew in the second, Sarah in the third. Now we're looking at the princesses. So I'm so glad you're here. Please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. So let's get to it. So can these York princesses build a different legacy? We're going to look at the next 10 years for both girls. So right now, their position in the institution, they both remain princesses by birth. They both remain in the line of succession. Andrew's divestment of all of his titles did not have any effect on that. Neither girl is a working royal, but they do have charitable affiliations and patronages, and they occasionally appear at family events or national events. So neither of them can inherit the dukedom under the male line. The dukedom does go down the male line. That's why when I looked earlier, I'm kind of surprised because it looks like Charlotte may get it. So maybe they're going to change some things about it, but we'll see. I think it's up in the air right now with the top job, King Charles. So the challenge of these girls is not just will the crown use them, it's whether they can build really credible public lives that are royal adjacent without becoming shields, which would be ideal for them, for their parents, or weapons against their parents. I don't think that their parents are looking at them as rehabilitation vehicles at all, or messengers to the royal family, but we'll see. So let's talk about Princess Beatrice a little bit. Her birth date is August 8th, and she was born at 8:18 in London. So she's the Leo's sun, which is warmth, loyalty, dignity. The Leos are going to be our real powerhouses in royal family. They convey a royalty to them just naturally. She has a Cancer moon, which will give her family sensitivity, protectiveness, a little bit of psychic ability too. Strong attachment to home and family, but also gives her a real vulnerability there. She's an Aquarius rising, which gives her this effect of modernity. Also, it makes her real keen on technology, social causes, which is going to be great. But it also gives her a little bit of a nudge that she's not really going to fit in that traditional royal mold. So from 2026 to 2029, Uranus and Gemini supports reinvention in communication, education, technology, and modern patronage. I think psychically that she's going to pull more away from the royal family at this point. I think she's really going to carve out in the next 3 years a more independent kind of family. I really like Beatrice's husband too. I think he's an interesting cat. So she should build expertise and consistency rather than wait for them to bestow a role on her. And I do think that they are a bit warmer to her doing some duties. There's just something very noble and regal about Beatrice that she kind of fits into that royal family. I'm wondering if it's because she looks so much like Queen Victoria. I loved her wedding. I just want to say that I loved her wedding. I thought it was so low key during the pandemic. Her dress was borrowed from Queen Elizabeth's wardrobe. It was an old dress that they restyled. It was perfect, really, really lovely. And to that point, marriage and family can be really stabilizing for her. But it sometimes, if the parental or house crisis interferes with that family too much, it could destabilize the marriage. So she's got to be real careful about keeping the York family stuff and the Mapelli family stuff very, very separate, or her personal family. 2030 to 2033, we're going to have a defining transformation for her. So Pluto in Aquarius is going to approach her ascendant and opposes her Leo sun as we get into these years. It's the strongest power and identity passage in her whole adult life. So her public role, her marriage, her family boundaries, her relationship to the ground, all may be redefined. So again, 2030 to 2033. She has to avoid using the safe York title as her only avenue for survival. She has to use power with her own choices. So she doesn't necessarily have to grab onto that and go, this is my buoy in the middle of the ocean. From 2033 to 2036, can't even believe I'm saying these dates, Uranus enters Cancer and it's going to activate her moon. So that will have some changes in home, motherhood, her residence, family structure. It could be something as simple as she moves, but it could be something much grander as, the family structure changes. So the opportunity leans for freer definition of family. So we're not abandoning relatives, but maybe refusing to inherit some of the emotional qualities from her parents, some of the stuff that's been going on with them. So let's do some cards on her real quick. Let's do some fun cards on her. So and again, this is just for Beatrice. What York burdens is she carrying? The Five of Wands, the conflict and the exposure of all of the information. What is not hers to carry? The success of all. She does not have to lift her sister, lift her father, lift her mother, lift the dog. She doesn't have to do everybody. She can just do her own thing. She can focus on herself. A high tide raises all ships. So just focus on your family, babe. What does the royal family genuinely want from her? We're talking right now. We're going to do some Lenormand on this. We'll do Lenormand on this. What does the royal family genuinely want from her? And that is right now. Want her to be your own woman? So right now, they want her pay attention to family and hearth and home. And don't worry about what's going on over here. We'll let you know when you need to come back in. And I think that that's okay. I think she can rest easy on that. It's not the harbinger of her being thrown out into the middle of nowhere. What are they thinking about her in a number of years? What is the long range plan of the royal family for Beatrice? Oh. We got the whip, which is repeated stuff. The stork, the anchor, and the heart. I think that they're a good-looking family. They can go on display sometimes, not all the time. Not all the time. They will be brought out like the Harlem Globetrotters or Batgirl or any of those special treats that we see in television and movies, those kinds of things. They'll bring her out when they're ready, but they don't want to bring her out just yet. They want her to stay put for now. What role best fits her gifts? Her nervous system needs to be out of the fray right now. And I think if her parents are pushing her to do that, they've been speaking, some of the gossip mags have been saying like she's been crying and she's upset. And I'm going to agree with that. I think that the stress has been really, really difficult for her. I think it's been more complicated than we have seen. I do think that is putting a lot of pressure on her family. I think her husband is saying, you can't absorb all of this drama and still be an effective parent and wife and, partner in this situation. So I think, she really needs to unplug for a little bit. How can she best protect her marriage and children other than separation of the York family thing? Hierophant. And again, this is separating from the royal family, being her own person. What legacy is she going to build by 2036? What legacy can she build by 2036? And we're going back to Lenormand for this. She's going to be looked upon favorably, guys. Clever little fox, Lily Fox. Child. She's going to have more kids too, I think. I don't think her pregnancy or pregnancies, has she had more than one child? I don't think they were very easy on her, but I do think that she'll do it again. And I think we're going to see a little bit more trad wife out of her. That's going to be the role that she will be building. And I do think that William will give her patronages that are reflective of that. Let's drop this down. We are going to talk a little bit about Princess Eugenie next. So she was born March 23rd, 1990, 7:58 in London in the evening. So she's an Aries sun. Aries suns are very independent. They're very direct. And they do have the courage to begin again and again. They do take some dents and bumps, but they do have a lot of courage to begin again and again. She has an Aquarius moon, which causes some unconventional family structures, and emotional distance is their weapon for self-protection, their shield, if you will. These unconventional family structures, sometimes they can have a lot of friends that they consider family. She has a Libra rising, which gives her great ability to be diplomatic, gives her a really good sense of aesthetics and public charm. And she, with that diplomacy, she's going to be able to keep the peace between different parties as well, fairly well. So let's take a look at 2026 to 2028. So over this period, I believe she's going to be dissolving this inherited identity. One of the things when they attended the York princesses, when they attended William and Catherine's wedding, there were a lot of similarities drawn between Drusilla and Anastasia, the stepsisters of Cinderella in the Disney film. And they did have these really, really wild fascinators. I thought that was great. I mean, it was a joyous occasion. Why not have a joyful fascinator on your head? But I do think that she's going to start to pull away from that identity of being an ugly stepsister, of being an ally for Harry and Meghan. Neptune near her Aries sun is going to sensitize and spiritualize her identity. So she may start to see things a little bit differently. Saturn is going to come in there and demand that she define her identity very clearly. Right now, she is kind of nebulous. and also to take responsibility for some of the adult choices that she's made. It can feel like uncertainty about her place in the world, but it's an invitation for her to build a life that is based on her values. I know, rather than the rank that was bestowed upon her. So, clarity, boundaries, and reliable advisors are going to be really essential during this period from 2026 to 2028. She has to avoid, these sycophantic people that are hired into her world. I am going to tell her psychically, please be careful of journalists and people that are going to try and dig in, especially if you know them in a personal capacity, because they potentially are going to they could potentially exacerbate any estranged family feelings. So specifically with some of the top ranking royal family members. From 2029 to 2033, she's going to be expanding through networks and ideas. Uranus in Gemini is going to favor international work, art, environmental causes, digital communication, and over borders kind of networking. This would be, like royal family stuff, like discussing, politics amongst royal family peers, that kind of thing. Her strongest path, though, is going to be to remain independent from any formal royal service. I think that she is going to be digging into her husband's work a little bit more. I do think that she will be protecting her marriage from becoming more of a topic of conversation in family diplomacy or any kind of controversies like that. So I do think that we're going to have an interesting period from 2029 to 2033 for her. Hopefully she's going to dig more into husband's work, protect her marriage from any kind of information that's going to be out there. I think people really do look at Eugenie a little bit crooked right now. 2034 and to 2036 is an emotional rebirth for her. So this is where she may have a significant transformation in her family relationships, her motherhood role, her role as a wife. She may have some serious transformations there. She's not the sister that is more likely to break old emotional patterns. She's a grudge holder. A lot of Aries are. But it looks like, she has an opportunity to kind of distance herself and then uplift herself. So let's pull some cards on Eugenie or Eugenie. How do you guys say it? Eugenie or Eugenie? What York burden is she still carrying? And we're going to use Lenormand. I got a jump out card. The breakaway. She is still hanging on after the removal of the titles. Where is she still acting as a mediator or a messenger? There's the letter. She's still doing it. She's still bringing messages back and forth. To whom, though? I think, I think that her connections with the females of the family, she will get on the phone and she'll do a little blether with some of them on the phone. What protects her marriage and children? What protects her marriage and children? Getting away, get away now. And protect yourself, put that circle around yourself, and then over here, become the seat of power in your own world. Don't latch on to the former seat of power in the House of York. Do your own thing. What relationship with the crown will be best, healthiest for her and her family? Seven of Swords. Wow. It looks like she is choosing violence. I think that she remains a grudge holder. And I think that the relationship for her that remains the healthiest is she goes in there as a super spy and tries to get her bag, tries to secure her bag with her own cleverness. But I don't think that that is the healthiest for her. I think that's the healthiest for her survival in the royal family. What kind of legacy is she going to build in 2026 or 2036? Three of Pentacles, Temperance, Queen of Pentacles, still chugging along, trying to secure that bag. That is what she's doing. But I think it's more with her husband's business. I think at this point, 2036, she's really trying to build and grow in the healthiest way possible. So let's look at the two girls together before we end this video. What binds these sisters beyond family obligation? Page of Swords and the Five of Swords. The conversations that are going on around them, this is where they bond the strongest, because they really have been talked about by the press and by the royal court, the people that are in the court. They have been gossiped about themselves, and so that is something that they keep kind of elevating themselves and I don't want to say estranging themselves, but it's almost like they're standing outside of the bubble. I think they've always felt like that, which is truly unfortunate. Where do their needs diverge? The Five of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. This is Beatrice and this is Eugenie. Beatrice is sad because of not belonging. She's sad because of not belonging. She misses the queen. She misses the structure that was in place when Queen Elizabeth was there. She feels stranger in a strange land, whereas Eugenie feels like she wants to fight back. That's where their needs diverge. Beatrice needs to be told you still belong, and Eugenie needs to stop fighting. So can they remain united without presenting like an aggressive front? They can. The tenure of William will be different for them. It will be different. Is it going to be great? I don't know. I think they will be handed down, living quarters assignments that are not exactly what they want. They're not going to get the invitations that they want, but they're going to get a little bit. They're not going to be completely ostracized. So if they're willing to work, I think they can offer, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. Can they save the House of York? Can they cleanse the York name? And we're going to Lenormand for this. The Ring. The Dog. Through commitment and loyalty, they can. It is a long climb. It is a long climb from the snake to the letter to the mountain. It's going to take them a bit of time. But the family tree is always there. It is always there. So I do think they can reassociate the House of York with the royal family as good players. So Beatrice and Eugenie did not create this York crisis. They can't inherit the dukedom. So why should they inherit the condemnation of their parents. They can inherit the emotional labor of fixing it, but I don't think that we should force this energetic culpability on them. You know, the cards can tell us if their healthiest future is to redeem the York name or build something beyond it. For them, I think it becomes a life preserver, not necessarily a buoy in the center of the ocean. I think they can use it gently to restore their name. But I also think that it can, they can add a little bit to it. They can kind of polish that up. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let me know if you have more questions about this. So, general audience, thank you so much for watching. Membership, we're going to go all the way back to $13.85 for this next video. That is a members exclusive. We're going to look at some of the Banished Princes and the creations and all kinds of neat stuff, and the astrology for the house itself for the next 10 years. So we're going to see what's going on there. If you guys want to become a member, if you're not a member already, go down below. It's very inexpensive. I keep it very, very low cost. You get early access to all of my videos. You get exclusive videos, like in the series video. I will always do a bonus one for you guys. And you also get a permanent discounted link for readings with me, and we do private lives with you guys. It's a gay old time. It's great. It's really fun. So the membership really does support. It props up my channel. It lets YouTube know that I have diehard fans that want to come and see exclusive content as well. So if you're not a member, come on over, become a member, and we will look at the House of York itself in my final installment for this series. So hope to see some new faces over there. Thank you so much, and I'll be back in a little bit.